G'day gamers, Ranger Tony here with another Pathfinder Kingmaker build video. So I have a confession to make. I have started another playthrough in my own personal playthrough offline sort of thing. And I've been playing, I wanted to play a group of Rangers, and I've just done the Ranger build video. You might have seen it. It's been up probably for a day or so now, at least, depending on when you're viewing this, of course. But the biggest problem I have in this game playing Rangers is, and I mentioned this in the video, a Ranger themselves really has very limited ability to heal their animal companion. By the time a Ranger gets spells, they don't get spells before level 4, which is when they get their animal companion, and a Cure Light Wounds at level 4 is not sufficient to heal the Ranger, let alone their companion, in any sort of meaningful way. So I've had to rethink my party composition. If I wanted to do a full party of Rangers, it wouldn't work. So I thought about it and looked at what else had animal companions and had the ability to do a bit of healing and stuff like that. And this is what I found. The Sacred Huntsmaster. So it is the subtype of Inquisitor, called the Sacred Huntsmaster. You get an animal companion from level 1. Now, I'm just going to come right out here and say this right now. This is OP. Okay? It really annoys me because so much of this, what this Sacred Huntsmaster gets, in a way is what the Ranger should get from level 1 as well. It's interesting because when you build a Ranger here, you don't have to pick what deity you have, and yet you are a divine spellcaster, right? Other variations on this, Neverwinter Nights 1 and 2, and even games like Sword Coast Legends, or Legends of the Sword Coast, whatever it was called, as a Ranger, you picked your deity. It didn't affect the spells that you were getting, but it was part of the process of building a character. You picked the deity that you did because you had divine spells. They had to come from somewhere. You don't pick a deity here. And yet when you do a Sacred Huntsmaster, you do, because that's part of being an Inquisitor. They get the animal companion from level 1, which is what I think a Ranger should get. And so they have the ability to cast a lot more spells, which I don't necessarily think a Ranger should have, but the spells that you get here, or the combination of spells that you get, can be really good to help heal your animal companion. Okay? The only thing I would like to see is any sort of spells that allow you to heal from a distance, because otherwise you've got to get up really close. But we'll go into this build a bit more and we'll see what happens. So, as I said, we first of all have to pick our Deity Selection. It's very much up to you. Look, if you're going to play a longbow Sacred Huntsman, I would recommend taking Erastil as your thing. It limits you to being lawful good, or lawful neutral. Not a problem for me, but the bow is his weapon, so you get a bow for free. Bonus, why bother picking anything else? But there are lots of options here, and don't necessarily look at what weapons they give you. Look at the domains and think if those domains appeal to you. But healing, good, protection, community, those sorts of domains work really well. War, chaos, and destruction give you a lot of powerful damage dealing spells if that's what you want, but I don't see it being as necessary for the Sacred Huntsmaster, because you've got to remember, you're going to be able to do damage from a distance with your bow, and you're going to have your animal companion who can get up there in their face and do some damage. So anything that can buff your animal companion or buff your ability to do damage is nice, but it's not really necessary. So I'm going to pick Erastil as my deity. My domain I'm going to pick is going to be the... I think I normally pick community domain, but any of these are okay. And then we're going to pick our animal companion. I've done this talk a lot before. I'm just going to pick Smilodon because I think it's the best of the animal companions. Just straight up. Leopards have some good features. Bears are just tough and hit hard. But unfortunately, dogs and wolves are a little bit meh. But overall, Smilodon is good. That's where I'm going to go. This is a pretty standard sort of ranged build. Dex is definitely what you want to concentrate on with this, but you need a lot of wisdom as well. Now, you only need up to 6 levels there, the minimum that you need. So you can do that. If this is a NPC that you're building, not your main character, then that'll be the character. That'll be done. You've still got 5 points left. My recommendation, even though it's going to leave you a little low on hit points overall, is to put the other 4 points into strength. Your other option is to put those 4 points into constitution and then use a heavy crossbow rather than a composite longbow as your weapon. Now, you can use the heavy crossbow anyway. It won't matter which way you go, but if you don't need that extra strength, putting it into constitution will allow you to survive a little bit more. So, here's the other way that I think the Inquisitor is OP. Every skill is a class skill. What's up with that? I mean, I thought bards were the jack of all trades, master of none. This takes the cake. So it's pretty well take whatever the hell you want. And you've got 5 points as well, which is comparable to what a ranger gets. You know? So this is why I'm a bit upset once I started looking at this class going, this is sort of what I wanted a ranger to be, except it's got more divine spells than I really want, but it will allow me to heal my animal companion. It's just not called a ranger. Okay. So you could play it as a ranger if you really wanted to, and just ignore the fact that it's called a Sacred Huntsmaster and it's an Inquisitor. I think there's a mod that you can get which gets rid of the silly hat. It gets rid of all hats, but it would get rid of the silly hat if that's what you want, or just take the hat that you can get early in the game and just keep that on all the time. Up to you. Perception I always take because I think it's good. I often take trickery because I want someone else who can undo traps apart from Lindsay. The rest is entirely up to you. Use magic device can be good if you want to be able to use wands and stuff that you normally couldn't, but being a divine spellcaster, any scroll of healing or any scroll of clerical or divine magic you're going to be able to use without a problem anyway. So this isn't that important unless you want to be starting to use arcane spells and wands and stuff like that. Law Nature, Law World, Law Arcana, they're all good. Law Religion, if you want to take it. You know me and religious stuff, that's why I don't play Inquisitors or Clerics and stuff like that. So that's the general character build. Now, feats. As a human, we get 2 feats. You're going to take the standard here for a ranged character. Point blank shot, precise shot. Take them now. Get them as quick as you can. Unfortunately, even though this is called Sacred Huntsmaster, it's not like the Paladin Divine Hunter, in that you don't get any archery feats for free. I'm assuming, because when you actually build this character, you get given a shield and a spear. So maybe you're meant to be a spear huntsmaster. I don't know. But that's our build. We need to choose some spells. I like Divine Favor, and then I'm going to recommend Cure Light Wounds at this point. Because you want some sort of healing, that's why we're doing this, and Divine Favor gives you a bit of a bonus to damage. And alignment will be based on the deity that you've picked, so you don't have much choice there. I've got lawful neutral, lawful good, or neutral good. I'm going to pick neutral good. Let's go on with the rest of the build. Okay. The next spell that I recommend is Remove Fear. Fear is the mind killer. Fear is a little death that brings total obliteration. Yes, I do know that. The Remove Fear is really good at early levels. Fear is one of the things early levels in the game that you'll find will be used against you a lot, and it can cause your group to scatter very quickly. If you can get this spell off before they scatter, it can remove their fear and protect them from it for a while, and you can be very effective. In fact, the more people that you have that can do this in your party, the better. It's very useful early on in the game, which is why I'm taking this at level 2. We get Cunning Initiative, which adds our wisdom to our dexterity for initiative, which is really nice. We also get Treat Affliction, but that happens to most characters along the way anyway. Okay, I'm going to recommend you take weapon focus in whichever weapon you have chosen. I'm going to assume here that we've done longbow, but if you've done heavy crossbow, use that instead. Crossbow, heavy crossbow, really your choice. If you can't get anything better, there is like a fire light crossbow in the game that you can buy fairly early on once you've saved up some money. I generally give it to Lindsay as her weapon, but use it for yourself. It's very useful against all of the trolls in the game. So and I haven't found a really good heavy crossbow yet, so in some ways it might be better to go light crossbow over heavy crossbow, but again, that's your choice. Level 3, yes, the teamwork feat. Right, Precise Strike. Now, the reason why I'm recommending we take this is because we're also getting the ability here somewhere, Hunter Tactics, which gives your teamwork feats to your animal companion. So I'm picking Precise Strike so that my animal companion has Precise Strike, not necessarily so that I've got it, because it's not going to be useful to me as an archer, but it is going to be useful to my animal companion if he's attacking the same target as somebody else. So there we go. Then the spells, I recommend probably Bless here at this point. If you're going down the sort of more evil route, then Bane or Doom or Cause Fear instead of Remove Fear. They're all sort of good things, but I don't like those fear-based things because they cause all your enemies to run away and scatter and you have to run them all down. I much prefer to concentrate them on one point and kill them. But that's just me. Okay. Level 4 Inquisitor, we're really not going to get much here, but we get a point of Dex. So we get a point that we're going to add to Dex. And then spells, we're getting our first second level spells. Take the Healing, Cure Moderate Wounds, and Hold Person. Very useful early on. Not all of your opponents will be useful. You can't use Hold Person, for example, against mites or kobolds. But if they're actual bandits, actual people, they're great. And they work against trolls. So get those Hold Persons out there. Now, the trolls and the people that you use it against can still negate the effect if they make their will save, but it is really useful, really nice. And don't forget, if you've taken an animal companion such as the leopard or the wolf or the dog, which has the trip ability, and they knock down your opponent, casting Hold Person on them when they are down means they can't get up, which makes them even more vulnerable. So think of that as well. I use that to great effect against trolls. You knock the troll down, then you use Hold Person on it, and then you pummel it to death. Okay, that was level 4. Got to speed this up a bit because I'm rambling. Level 5. We are going to take Rapid Shot here. At this point, we haven't had it yet. This is a lot longer than it normally takes me to get Rapid Shot. But we have to remember this is not specifically designed to be a archery class when it was originally this class itself. So we're not going to be getting all of the advantages of an archer, but we get enough of them that it works. And we now can take a favored enemy, which is, again, this is just another ranger by another name. We get this later than you normally do as a ranger, but what the hell, they get favored enemies. Same thing goes from what I've mentioned before. I'm going to take Fae this time rather than human, but it doesn't really matter. Faes are good options, humans are good options, giants are good options because that covers trolls, and there's a lot of them in the game. There's a lot of other giants in the game as well. Outsiders because they're so different. Undead because there's a lot of them. Aberrations, constructs can be useful as well, but we're taking Fae this time. Spells at this point, I'm going to take Lesser Restoration because it helps us to recover from draining, but you do probably want to... No, it isn't this one. I think it's the normal restoration spell that you need Diamond Dust for. So be aware of that. Don't sell all of your diamonds and Diamond Dust because it is a useful reagent for some of these spells. We also get Bane here and Bane Weapon. That is a really good... It deals an extra 2d6 points of damage and a +2 bonus to hit. To hit and damage, I think it is. It is very good. It only lasts for a certain number of rounds, though, so really make good use of it. You may want to do things like turn off Rapid Shot while you're using it, just to get even better chance to hit, but it is very useful. Level 6 Inquisitor. And I'm going to recommend taking Outflank. Again, this is something for our animal companion rather than for us. But I do believe it might still help us to give... If we manage to do a critical hit with our bow against an opponent that is being flanked by our companions, then those companions will get... I think will get attacks of opportunity. I'm not sure if I've seen this or not. I've been playing this character as an NPC. So, but... even if it doesn't work, your animal companion has the outflank ability anyway. And I have seen that work a lot. That's right. I'm recommending C invisibility here. Resisted energy is okay, but it only does for one companion. So I'm going to say C invisibility is the one that I would recommend there. Or maybe protection for alignment communal. It only lasts for a minute though, so it's not that great. Level 7 Inquisitor then. We're going to take Deadly Aim here. I mean, we took it a lot later from the point of view of a ranger, but we don't get a lot of the other things that a ranger can get. So we'll take this here. Now we have to take a first level spell. I'm going to recommend Stunning Barrier. Puts a barrier around you, which provides an extra AC bonus and an extra bonus to saves, but also anyone who strikes you with a melee attack is stunned. And then our first third level spells. So we're going to take Cure Serious Wounds, because of course we are. And then I'm going to recommend Prayer, because it buffs up everybody in your group. Much like Bless does. It's just it's a better Bless, basically. So we'll take those initially. Level 8 Inquisitor. We get another point into Dex here. No feats this point, so just spells. What are we going to take? Dispel Magic, I think, is probably one of the most useful of the ones that are still here. Like Delay Poison Communal can be useful if you've got an opponent that's, poisoning everybody. Heroism, only against one person, so it's not all that great. These litanies are okay, but they, again, only work against one enemy within a close range. Remove Curse, you so seldom need it. Same with Remove Disease. So I'm going to go with Dispel Magic because it can be used in lots of different cases. And you do get Guarded Health as a... and I think you might be able to use that when you're resting. But I don't know. I haven't tried that yet. Actually, I don't think I've got high enough level with my Inquisitor to try that yet. Level 9. As I've said in my full Ranger build, I'm starting to lean more towards Clustered Shot over Many Shot. If you've taken Heavy Crossbow, don't take Many Shot because it doesn't work. But Clustered Shot allows you to overcome damage reduction, which is something that you cannot do very well. There is no option for fighters, for example, to do that sort of thing. So definitely take that. Teamwork Feat, I'm recommending back-to-back. So if you're flanked and next to another opponent, you gain another ally, you gain an AC bonus. Again, it's going to be more useful for your animal companion than for you, but it might still be useful for you. And we get Resist Energy Communal now at level 3, so I definitely recommend taking that one. The communal version of these spells are good. Protection from Energy is fine, but the communal version is better, and we don't get that yet, so... So we get another favoured enemy. I'm going to go Outsiders. And go back for a bonus for Fae. Spells. So we have to add another second level spell, and I would probably go Aid, even though it only affects one person rather than the entire group. It's still useful. And then as 4th level spells, which we haven't had before, we're definitely going to take Cure Critical Wounds. The other one is probably Burst of Glory, because it gives everybody within a 10-foot radius bonuses to attack rolls and temporary hit points. So that can't be too bad. Okay, level 11. And I'm going to recommend taking Improved Critical in whatever weapon you've chosen. So Longbow, for example. If you have taken Longbow, you could take Many Shot here, but I think Improved Critical is going to be better for you no matter what you pick at this point. A 1st level spell, Shield of Faith, is probably not too bad. And then we need a 4th level spell, Hold Monster, but again, as I mentioned in the Ranger build, no, actually this is Hold Monster, not Hold Animal, so this will work on a lot of things, so that is probably a good option there. It's not, there's Hold Animal that the Rangers get as a 2nd level spell, and it's useless, because so many things, like Hoe Dogs, for example, that you might think is an animal is a monster. And we get given the Stalwart ability, which gives you protection for some save throws. Level 12, we also get another ability point, which is again going into Dex. the teamwork feat here is that I'm going to take is Shake It Off. Gives you a bonus to saving throws, and that increases with the number of allies that have that ability. So that can be very, very useful. And we need another 4th level spell. I'm going to recommend Protection from Energy Communal. And we've got Greater Weapon Bane there as well. Level 13. I'm going to recommend taking Critical Focus because we've just taken improved critical for our longbow, so I'm going to recommend we take Critical Focus, which will just make it even easier for us to confirm critical hits. So we need another 3rd level spell, so I recommend See Invisibility Communal so that everybody in our group can see invisible things, and then we have to pick 5th level spells. Now, here's where it gets interesting because there's no like individual healing spell here, but there is Cure Light Wounds Mass. The problem is Cure Light Wounds does so little healing, it's almost not worth it. So I'm actually going to recommend that we take Banishment, allowing us to banish extraplanar creatures, and Chains of Light, which is like a hold spell, but it'll hold pretty much anything. I'm saying pretty much because I'm sure there's things that it won't hold, but yeah, it doesn't really say that there's anything it can't hold. So, and I like hold spells. They work really well. So that's what we're going to take there. Level 14. We need another spell from 2nd level. So I'm going to say Remove Paralysis. It's not something that happens often, so that's a good spell to have. And then probably Flame Strike is the next one that would be useful. It does a fair bit of damage. So what can we take here? Look, if we wanted to take something here, if you wanted to take Many Shot here and you hadn't already, fine, take it. But I'm actually going to recommend extra Bane Weapon here so that we get an extra 3 rounds per day of Bane Weapon, because that's a good ability to have. We actually get 2 teamwork feats. No, 1 teamwork feat here, and then that's Favoured Enemy. Allied Spellcaster, because technically you are a spellcaster, so this gives you a bonus to concentration checks, just in case you need concentration to overcome something. I'm going to take Aberrations as my favourite enemies this time, and we're still going to keep bumping up Fae. And a 5th level spell here, Stone Skin Communal. Anything communal is good. And this is protection for everybody communal, so that will go down well. Everybody will like you if you cast Stone Skin on them. Take it from me. Level 16, we just went up and we did get another point of dex there. No feats, but we get some spells. We have to do a 4th level spell. Probably Greater Invisibility isn't too bad there. And then 6 level spells already. Wow. Heal is a really good spell. It does heal a lot of damage and removes conditions, ability damage, blinded, confused, blah, 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 blah. Read them all yourself. Pause and read them if you want. So definitely heal is a good one. And really, I just love Blade Barrier. I think it's a great spell, so I recommend taking it. It's one of the few spells that I like taking as a cleric as a divine spellcaster. Of course, Cure Moderate Wounds Mass isn't going to be too bad. 2d8 plus 1 per level of caster. That's going to be reasonably okay. It's not going to do anything huge, but because it can heal everybody, and if you need multiple people who need a heal, it'll work better than nothing, but we'll take that one later, I think. Level 17 Inquisitor. I'm going to recommend taking Combat Casting as an ability. It just gives you a bonus to concentration when threatened or distracted, which is useful. We need another 3rd level spell. Remove Curse. Doesn't happen often, but we'll take it. And then we'll take Cure Moderate Wounds Mass here. Level 18 Inquisitor then. Teamwork feats. I think Coordinated Maneuvers is probably the better of these. I mean, Shield Wall and... Well, Shielded Caster is not too bad, but you need other people to shield you. Shield Wall would be great if we had a shield, but we're not using it, and our animal companion, to my knowledge, can't use a shield, so Coordinated Maneuvers is probably the best bet there. And then I think Inspiring Recovery is probably the best of the other spells here. So it basically, you can bring them back to life if they've died within the last 2 rounds, or it will harm undead. So it heals your companions, it harms undead, and it can even bring them back to life if they've died within the last 2 rounds. So I think that's pretty good. You could have taken that last level instead of Blade Barrier, for example, and taken Blade Barrier now, or instead of Cure Mass Wounds or anything like that. You can mix those ones around, because that was a couple of levels ago that we did Blade Barrier, I think. Level 19. It's probably late for this, but better late than never. But I think Spell Penetration is a good choice here. And we need another 5th level spell. Be careful of some of these weapon ones. Resounding Blow and Disrupting Weapon and things like that, because they need to be used by a melee weapon, and we don't have melee. But Break Enchantment, I think, is probably good. Again, you're probably not going to need it very often. You finally get Judgement, which is an ability that normally a 1st level Inquisitor gets, but you only get it at level 19. That's fine. It's a little weird. I would have thought you got it at level like 6 or something, but they obviously decided that, as I said, this thing is OP enough already. Again, we're going to put our last point of Dex in here, because again, if you're using something which buffs an odd number of points, then it's now even and you get the bonus anyway, so that's great. Blah, blah, blah. You've heard me say that a dozen times already. Level 20, favorite enemy. I'm going to pick dragons. Why not? And still favour Fae. It sounded like Flavor Flay. Not that I really know who that is. Dismissal, again, useful for getting rid of extra planar creatures. And then, probably Cleanse, actually. Cures a decent amount. Ends a bunch of different conditions, so works similar to Heal. And there we go. That is our character. We've got our animal companion here. He again is very good, like he was when we did the ranger. I did mention very early on that we get given a spear for some reason, and a shield, and then whatever weapon we picked for our deity, which was the favourite weapon of our deity. I would normally get rid of those weapons and just throw them away and just stick with the longbow. So yeah, that's a full build of a Sacred Huntsmaster. Full disclosure, my private playthrough that I'm doing at the moment has 3 rangers. My primary character is a ranger. I have another NPC ranger, and I have a Kundeo, sorry. And then I have 2 Sacred Huntsmasters and Lindsay, and that is my standard party, and they are doing very, very well. The only problem I have is that I have to navigate 5 very large animal companions in some corridors and stuff like that, and sometimes the pathing on the AI screws up and the animal just sits there and spins on the spot or does something stupid like that. So you want to be a little bit careful. Sometimes you try and do a charge and the animal just sits there and doesn't do anything. But apart from that, it's working really well. It's a beautiful combination, even better than just an all party of archers. It's all party of archers plus the animal companions there, and you've got some ability to heal those animal companions fairly well without having to rely just on scrolls. And I'm starting to think I could have living with healing just with scrolls, because the rangers can use, scrolls of cure moderate wounds, cure, all of the cure spells, heal, all of that sort of stuff from a scroll. And the scrolls are fairly cheap. So I feel that I probably could have done that, but the Sacred Huntsmasters are giving me a good bit of variety of skills and abilities and other spells that I can't get as a ranger. So it is definitely an interesting class to try. So I hope you try it, and if you like it, please give me a like and share it with your friends. Be sure to subscribe to keep up to date with all of the latest videos, and I will see you for the next one. Thanks a lot. Bye.